Controlling COVID-19 spread in Kolkata was one tough task for the Indian government. Just like other metro cities, the cultural capital of India followed strict lockdown rules. But as soon as the restrictions were lifted, we saw an imminent rise in the numbers. Areas like Howrah, Esplanade and Bada Bazar needed strict lockdown policies to be followed given the high population factor. But it was kind of impossible to maintain proper social distancing in these areas, and moreover, the usage of masks was very subjective, making it a hotspot for COVID spread.
This disease does not only cause fatality of people dying, but leaves a whole lot of things behind. And then you have patients with chronic fatigue syndrome, with arthritis that just doesn't go away, cognitive dysfunctions, with heart problems. So it is something which cannot be dealt with as something which is just going to pass. No, it is not a sardi khasi zukam which is just going to go away. It can leave behind a whole lot of complications. We need to be careful. And on the personal front, it's been difficult, because I come home every day and I'm scared that I'm bringing it to my family. Although, as I said, it's asymptomatic people do carry it, and I'm really, really scared every single day that I'm going to come and give it to my family.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone.
Let's do our due diligence, take the precautions we need to take care of ourselves.
No matter what, I still love my job, and I'm going to do everything in my power to save lives.
कल की बात पुरानी नए दौर में लिखेंगे मिलकर नई कहानी.
It happened very gradually actually. It wasn't like one fine morning we were, said ki chalo pandemic start. It was like we were working and every week we were like, कि अब patients आएंगे, now we have to test everybody. It started like that. It didn't start very abruptly कि चलो. But once when the first positive patient came into a department, it was then when we realized that yes, the pandemic is something serious. We have to start, treating COVID patients. And initially, nobody realized that the things are going to turn up the way they have.
Frankly speaking, compared to the other countries and compared to the difficult nature of COVID-19, India did exceptionally well. Let me clear to everybody, in a 138 crore population, we have already kept our mortality within 1.5 lakh, which is really amazing, really amazing. Whatever we did from our governmental point of view, from the medical staff's point of view, and from the general population.
I think around mid-March, when we started having a few cases, and by the last week of March, we were called on to this meeting in the hospital where we were told we're going to have a setup for COVID patients. And that's how it all happened. I think it was on the 28th when we entered into this, this isolated area made to wear PPEs. It was terrible. Very poor visibility because we had our goggles on, and I could feel the sweat pouring down my eyes right up to my face, and we couldn't take it away because that's how it was initially. And I think I remember the first patient who got really sick and needed ventilator was he owned a bag shop in a market, and he just came in because he was coughing a lot. We had to ventilate him, and things didn't go well. We didn't know what hit us, honestly. We tried everything possible, what we normally do, I've been working in the intensive care unit for 10 years now, and we tried everything possible. That person died in a matter of a day. That was terrible. That was terrible for us.
As I'm a physician, I used to see internal medicine patient of fever of any kind used to come to me first. And after that, my role is to diagnose and accordingly channelize those patients. First, I got a patient that was in 27th of March who came with hyponatremia. Hyponatremia means low sodium. Patient age was around 65, but there was no apparent cause of low sodium in that patient. I have a high index of suspicion. I told that this patient needs to be tested. But what happens, because there is no other symptoms, everybody is reluctant to do that. After that, it was revealed that the family of this patient, that is 13%, this is after 5 days, 13% of the entire family got COVID affected and they all quarantined. And after that, we tested that patient, that came out to be negative first time. So we are in a difficult dilemma. So we readmit the patient. And 7th April, I remember the day, his COVID again retested and it came to be positive. But there was no symptom, no fever, no cough and cold, no traditional symptoms except that sodium, low sodium, which was unexplained otherwise. And from 7 to 14, I was quarantined and I tested there. I got negative and I rejoined. And since that 14th April onwards, I am working.
We're always working in the emergency. So we always have a lot of patients coming in. Initially, we started segregating patients who had fever and who didn't. So that, we could actually segregate that they might be COVID positive. So this particular lady, she was there in the isolation ward. But she was in early labor. We didn't know that she would actually deliver during the night. And suddenly at maybe 2 or 3 a.m., it was like, she's delivering. And then the people who were there, they just had to rush to deliver the baby. They couldn't really wait. We're going to wear the PPE and then go, because that would have become like such a wrong thing from our part. So they just had to rush to get the baby out. And then later when the lady was tested, she came out to be positive. So the 2 PGTs who actually delivered the baby, they were first taken into quarantine. So that time we realized that, okay, this is going to happen to all of us now. So from then on, we started wearing our PPs every day on our duties. It had become a rule that we have to wear a PP. Without a PP, you cannot, do your duties.
There is 2 sides. One side is many people is very serious. They are very meticulously wearing masks, very frequently doing their hand washes. They are trying their best to make physical distancing. But there is some group of people who is not following. Sometimes they are not following at all. And sometimes they are following by force sometimes. Even there is a misbelief that मुझे नहीं होगा.
There was most of the patients, they don't want to accept that they are positive because they have no symptoms. So they're like, आप कैसे बोल रहे हो हम positive है? They come up and they're telling us कि आप क्यों बोल रहे हो हम positive है? Especially the husbands, we had this patient, she was positive and she had a very nice, normal, uncomplicated delivery. And then she was being shifted to another COVID hospital because she was tested positive. Now the husband is coming and telling me कि अरे उसके तो कुछ बुखार ही नहीं है, खांसी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं, आप क्यों बोल रहे हो, आपके टेस्ट में गलती है. The normal mass couldn't understand कि without symptoms also a person can be positive. They didn't have the whole idea of the thing कि asymptomatic carriers बोल के भी people होते हैं. So at least 10 times I had to literally sit down and explain it to him कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि without any symptoms your wife is positive. Then he was like, अच्छा ठीक है. Now they were worried about the child because that's another new thing that's come into the life. So dealing with that part was also another different thing. They don't even want to understand कि हाँ ठीक है ऐसा भी हो सकता है. They're very कि नहीं खांसी नहीं है, बुखार नहीं है, मतलब मेरे patient को कुछ भी नहीं है, तो patient is fine.
And sometimes what is happening, people becoming restless because of such a lengthy process. And there is some economic burden as well. जब पहले 2-3 महीना तक चल रहा था, even we are also believing that because we are taking this particular disease new to us. So we are taking that it may go after 2 months. Sometimes we think it may go after 3 months. When the summer came, it will go away. Because previously the SARS and MERS, 2 other brother of this particular disease, went away within 6 months. And there is no requirement of vaccine even. In that area, we thought that it will go away because we have no experience. We do not have any experience of COVID-19 previously. So we thought that it will go away. But today we can realize that it will at least remain for some time, may remain less virulent, may be vaccinated. Most of the people get vaccinated. It will be like other influenza, other pneumonia. This is today we are believing, but 6 months before we have no idea on that.
Yeah, because this is a new virus, and it's hitting out in every system possible. It injures the lungs, it injures the liver, it injures the brain, and there was another patient I would like to tell you about him. This was an elderly gentleman, 80-year-old, and the relatives were very clear that they did not want to put him on any invasive ventilation, and we just gave him a lot of time, just did very good ICU care of looking after the day-to-day things that we manage in the ICU. Just very good supportive care, very good fluid management, and you wouldn't believe it. This 85-year-old whom all of us had lost hope. We said, Dadu, it's just a matter of time. I guess he's just going to have a cardiac arrest, and the relatives have not consented for invasive ventilation. We don't know how we're going to save this guy, but just very good supportive measures, very good fluid management, and very good nursing care by the nurses. I think at the end of about maybe 24, 25 days, he became conscious, he was off oxygen, and he actually went home.
In earlier studies, it wasn't really said that there's a higher risk for pregnancy or anything like that. So we didn't really imagine that we would have gotten so many positive patients at a time. But over the time, it was every week, every day in our admissions of maybe 30, we used to get 10 or 12 patients positive. So it was on such a high scale that it was then we realized a lot of positive patients are coming in. And the most surprising thing was most of them were asymptomatic. It wasn't like they had any complaints. Most of them didn't have any complaints. Neither did they have fever, cough. Yeah, there were a few who did have fever, cough or something like that. But most of them didn't have any symptoms. So that was a very difficult thing on our part because we didn't really know कि किसको हो सकता है and किसको नहीं. So we started segregating them according to the high risk areas or the areas that the government had said कि हाँ ठीक है, these are the hotspots that we used to say. So according to that we started segregating the patients कि इनको हो सकता है and इनको नहीं हो सकता है.
If you ask this question to me, maybe in June, July, or even in August also, I will tell you that look, this is definitely the slums and all the areas, the crowded, congested areas. There is some problem and the chances of spread is more because they are more contaminated and many people live in small areas. They are not maintaining physical distancing. They are not sharing the single toilet. They are sharing common toilet. So chances of spread is very high. But as we saw the patients and if you see the ICMR different experiments which was there, you can see the asymptomatic antibody development is more high in those contaminated areas because since childhood they are exposing so many problems, particularly waterborne diseases. They have a very poor water hygiene, very overall hygiene. Their sanitation is very bad. Their water supply most of the time contaminated, and the result of which, though there is a municipality is doing exceptional things, they are improving the scenario, but it's still poor, no doubt about that. So that may get some benefits, some blessings to them because they have developed some natural immunity. You cannot say it as a herd immunity, but it's a natural immunity, which is now fighting because we have no definite antidote, definite viral doses are not there. So their natural immunity is preventing them from being more diseased. They are infected, they are suffered, but they suffered less. The chances of death is less and the number of deaths is also less in the slum areas as compared to the high-rise buildings.
What we find is there are still people who think, ये क्या है, सर्दी खांसी तो होगा, 2 दिन में बुखार उतर जाएगा, right? And they are not bothered about putting on their masks. You will find a whole lot of people wearing their masks on their chin. The other day, I even saw a person who was wearing his mask as a wristband. So, the people are not understanding that even if, and then they would say things like, the fatality is just 1%. But imagine the whole population of India, 1% of that is huge. And the only way to control it is to keep yourself isolated and safe. By this isolation, I don't mean you coop yourself up into a room. No. You just need to have your mask on, because the portal of entry is through your nose and mouth. You're not asking for too much, are we? It just becomes a matter of habit. Now when I go out of the house, it feels, even if I don't wear the mask one day, it feels like I've not worn my glasses. That's the way it has to be for every person.
When the vaccine trials were going on, antivirals like remdesivir and favipiravir, along with some other repurposed drugs, played an eminent role in keeping the fatality ratio as low as possible. Needless to say, they gave the frontline doctors a ray of hope even when the numbers were at an all-time high.
It is when you are helpless, it is when things evolve and you think, okay, let me do something differently so that I get my patients out. Yeah. Then we had these antiviral medications which came out. We had initially had a drug called lopinavir, ritonavir, which we were using, and then remdesivir came in, and then the recovery trial showed us that steroids made a big difference, and yes, they did.
Look, there is different studies in national and international where it is seen that antivirals has some limited role. But if you ask me, as even today, I will go to the patient and I will see out of 30-35 patients, about 15 to 20 patients are getting remdesivir. And believe me, they are getting cured. Nowadays, we are very streamlining the treatment as well. We have divided the sections of the patients. When the patient is coming with some non-specific malaise, cough and cold, etc., we are trying the patient to home. We did some basic investigations, D-dimer, ferritin, CRP, CBC. If the D-dimer is high, there is chances of hypercoagulable state. For those, if they are more aged, we started low molecular weight heparin therapy. If their IL-6 level is high, we used to start steroid from the very beginning. If the patient having a high grade fever and the patient having comorbidity, we just check their liver function test. If it is okay, we straight away start remdesivir. And if their comorbidity is comparatively less, more young, we used to give favipiravir. Favipiravir is not yet recommended in ICMR guideline, I can tell you, but yet it is effective. Probably the disease is mild to moderate. If it is moderate to severe and the day is less than 10 days from the disease, you straight away give a remdesivir, you will get exceptional results. Sometimes remdesivir plus methylprednisolone, that is steroid, sometimes dexamethasone. There is 4 drugs which is working magically. One is low molecular weight heparin, one is remdesivir, one is steroid, and along with that, some multivitamin you need to consider, and doxycycline.
Although we actually do not have an advanced healthcare like the West, but our primary healthcare is not bad. Unlike the West, where people have to wait for many days before they can get some amount of medical attention, we do have our primary healthcare services where people are getting their doses of paracetamol. And the West Bengal government is doing very good in terms of, if they have once they get a patient with COVID, the family is given medication so that they don't need to go out. That door-to-door service has gone an immense way in controlling it.
And given the situation, when I'm from a non-medical background, nobody from my house was really going out. Everybody was like work from home. My dad, my mom, my brother. I was the only one who was going out. So it was a very scary thing for me. If I would have turned positive or something wrong would have gone to me because of the duties, so my parents or my brother would have been at stake. So initially it was very scary. I wouldn't stay at home. I used to stay separately in a flat because that's what you have to do. Most of my colleagues also used to, most of them shifted to the hostel, or some maybe took a flat. Like you couldn't stay with your family because it was like, risking your parents for something that you were doing and you're supposed to do. I cannot help, not doing my duties or something like that. So that was a really big problem earlier, like before the antibody testing and everything came out.
हमको तो इलाज करना है और हमारे लिए प्रॉब्लम यह है द डिजीज बर्डन जितना कम रहे उतना अच्छा है. अभी कुछ पीपल मान रहे हैं तो उनके लिए जो अच्छा है, बाकी लोग जो नहीं मान रहे उनके लिए नहीं अच्छा है. So they will get more infected, more affected, and they will become more. And as we know, the health structure is fixed. We can't make more doctor, more health staff at a time within a short period of time. So, and we cannot engage everybody to work on COVID because there is a significant population in doctor and medical staffs who is more than 50 years old. So they should not come. Though basically, actually what is happening now, because of shortage of staff, every person, even an 80-year-old physician is practicing COVID. Dr. Sukumar Mukherjee is 85-year-old. He is also in active part in West Bengal of doing COVID. He's a twice BC Roy Award winner. But we are not happy. We don't want SAR to work like this. We don't want a person who is more than 50 years to work like this.
Unlike when it was, it just struck us like a bolt from the blue. We know we have medications at hand and we know what to give when, so that if a patient comes to the hospital, we have a protocol of giving him certain medicines. If a patient's at home, we know what to give them. And, we have understood the disease a little better in the last 6 months, which has gone a long way in decreasing the fatality rates and in getting patients out of the hospital at lesser times.
So this COVID year will be the most memorable period of my life. There's many things happens. Those patients who get cured, they have tell me many things. They are still sharing the good pictures and many blessings and all those things. Not only that, I get much more support from the administration overall. I got COVID Samman Award from the Fire Brigade. I got COVID Samman Award from the Bidhannagar Police Commissionerate. Everybody came to us, assure us, not only the prizes, the most important is the assurance that we are all with you. Just 1 year back, if you remember, doctors are beaten like anything. Some persons even killed. A doctor of Assam is killed. And that was a very, very bad time. But now, just situation is reversed. The doctors are now the front line and everybody is supporting us. These are very amazing for us particularly. We are not only working for money, but we are working from something which is, you cannot tell fame, but the recognition of your duty. This is very important.
The battle is not yet over. I don't think that people should think everybody's won the battle yet. It's like still going on. But yes, we have to go on with our life. We cannot just be stuck to this thing. Like obviously we have to keep it in mind. We have to keep our safety measures up. But life has to go on with this. Like you have to inculcate this in your lifestyle. You have to get it that this is how things are going to be for a while now. So jaise chal raha hai, obviously you have to take it into your lifestyle. Like that is it. You have to inculcate in whatever you're doing, however you're doing. Like you have to stay happy with what it is now.
It is not possible to keep the whole country locked down, right? We have to get back to our professions. Everybody needs to earn their daily bread. So opening has to start. So the opening has to start with people putting on their masks. People have to maintain their distance. People have to wash their hands. And if they are affected, if they have a fever, they have to isolate themselves. Because as you know, 40% of the patients do not show symptoms.
Everything is quite clear and simple. We have done the battle together. We did exceptional job. Everybody is fighting together. There is nobody in the country who is not fighting. But believe me, the battle is not yet over.
Please do not take this lightly. Please, for heaven's sake, do not take it lightly. Please keep your masks on, because this is a disease that can leave long-term complications. And this is a disease which could be a burden to yourself, which could be a burden financially. And as I said earlier, even if 1% mortality rate, that 1% could be very, very high if a whole lot of us get affected. Please wear your masks, keep your distance, and wash your hands.
The year 2021 started with a hopeful note, with 2 government-approved vaccines arriving soon in the Indian markets. But in the population of 1.3 billion people, getting majority of people vaccinated is going to take some time. Until then, frontline medical staff aims to continue holding the gates for us. And the right thing for us to do is to help them by following the rules of the new normal for a few more days. We respect the efforts of our frontline corona warriors and salute them for their services.